Hi there. In this video I'm going to tell you how I find and review a basketball court and why I do it. Let's start with why I'm doing this. Back in March 2020 when the first COVID lockdown happened, effectively all basketball operations came to a halt, much like all other sports operations. This was obviously terrible no matter what sport you participated in. However, some sports are impacted more heavily than others. All sports being barred from running indoors was obviously a massive issue for many people at that time. But what if you could still play your court outside? Well, for certain sports it's very simple. Footballers can play on an empty grass pitch. There's certainly an abundance of those in Aberdeen, and if you want to put a little bit of effort into it, you can certainly easily find a set of goalposts. But what if you play basketball? You can search on Google, maybe find a couple of options to play at if you're lucky, but they might not be close enough to you consider going. Or maybe you're close enough, but the court you might want to play on is like this court in Lawsondale. It's in an awful condition to play on, and I wouldn't recommend it. So what do you do then? This is what I asked during that time. Well, I found this website called Courts of the World. It is a website that allows users to upload the basketball courts they play at, so others may easily find basketball courts they can also play at. However, despite this, there were clearly still courts that were missing from the site. And from that time until now, I've tried to find and add basketball courts to the map. Not only in Aberdeen, but most of Aberdeenshire too. Today I will be taking you to one of those courts in Aberdeenshire. It is located in Ellon and is on the campus of Ellon Academy. Interestingly enough, Nesco also has a learning centre here. When I get to a court, I will play on it to assess what it is like in comparison to courts I've played on before. This can be any sort of court I've played on before, such as the recently built in the past 3 years, Neil Cooper Court, which was built by the Cruyff Foundation. This court had excellent court lines and excellent traction. The hoops were height adjustable, which allowed them to be at a regulation 10 feet. It also had nets, which may surprise you, but it's not always the case, and there is usually always people to play with if you go at the right time. This is just one example, however. There can be many reasons a court can be good to play on, such as it just being beautiful, like the Macduff court here, or just being particularly popular, like this court in Stonehaven. It is my goal to inform anyone to what they should know about a court before they leave their house. That way they can choose the best place for them to go and play. And now I want to show you what you should know about Ellon Academy's court after I get there. So now I'm here, I will now go and play on the court for a bit. I've already noticed a couple of things. I was here before a bit earlier. I discovered that this hoop is for actual regulation height. The other hoop over there is way higher, and I know this because I can do this on this hoop. Thank you. And on the other hoop, I can only get this high on it. But this isn't the only thing about the court. There's lots of things that can be good about the court. This is actually quite a nice court. It's got good lines. It's actually the right size, which is somewhat rare in Aberdeenshire and Aberdeen, which is great for people wanting to actually practice seriously. And it's actually just a very nice place in general. The court is pretty clean, I can tell that already, and I will play around a bit and see what it's like. Now that I am back, I can explain what I liked and disliked about the Ellen Academy court. First of all, before I got to the court, I was quite happy that it was not necessary for me to climb a fence. This is particularly common with outside courts attached to schools. The court had excellent court lines, the surface was grippy and clean, both hoops had nets and the backboards were intact with a regular but narrow width backboard. Some things I didn't like so much was that the east hoop was above regulation height, but the west hoop was standard height. This is far from ideal even if you would be playing with friends. I also discovered that the entire court is slanted just a little bit. This isn't entirely uncommon in basketball courts, but it's also not overly noticeable in this case, fortunately for the court. The court is also pretty secluded. It's far away from the main area of Ellen, and it pretty much is positioned in the wrong place if you want to walk to it from most locations. This also means you probably won't find many people to play against if you want to. In my opinion, because of this, the court gets a 3 out of 5 for those reasons. Now all that's left for me is to add photos to the website, and after that I will add a small comment to the page explaining how I felt about the court. This is a nice court attached to Ellen Academy. It features 2 hoops with nets. The surface is grippy and clean and has easy to see court lines. Unfortunately for the court, the east hoop is not regulation height and is about a foot higher than it should be. Thank you for watching.